Hey, everybody, Lorraine Lewis here. I am on an amazing show with Troy. I am the lead singer from Femme Fatale, and I am on May the Rock Be With You. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, thank you so much, Lorraine, and welcome to May the Rock Be With You. It's a pleasure to talk to you. I never thought I would because, who'd ever think you'd be coming to Australia? And here we are. So
I know,
exciting.
and I leave in 3 days. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. I can't believe it. So 14 hours on the plane, I guess. I'll be messaging people on Instagram, finding things to do, probably be doing a little bit of, vocal warm-ups as I'm on the plane, but I cannot wait to step foot in Australia. It is an honor and a pleasure, and I'm so grateful for sure.
Awesome. Now, can you give us an idea, though, what we can expect from a Lorraine Lewis show in 2026?
Well, yeah, I'll tell you what, I'm coming to kick ass. I am coming to to kick ass and take names. I am coming to, especially I mean, I love Trickster, I love Tough. I'm really excited to be coming with them, but I'm going to give the boys a run for their money. I open up the shows while I'm there, and I mean, this is the first time that I'm going to be performing as Femme Fatale in decades, as far as you know touring.
Mm.
So these are the first shows for me. So they're a really big deal for me. I couldn't be more excited. I have musicians that are Australian that are going to be backing me up. And so I'm flying in. When I hit the ground, we're going to be having a couple of days of rehearsals. And I'm really, really excited to work with these guys. The band director, if you will, his name is Voya. And we've had some Zoom calls with me and the boys. And we're all on point. We're all ready to rock the house for
Excellent.
sure.
We
So
cannot
I
wait.
will say it's going to be some of the older stuff and obviously the new singles that just got dropped last year. So yeah, you can expect a really good show. Rock and roll, high octane.
It's what we love. It's what we want. I was going to ask about that because when you come to a country for a first time, when you're almost introducing yourself to us in a way, how do you really sit there and structure that set list to go, well, this one worked, this one maybe not? How do you do that?
Well, it wasn't easy, honestly, because there's so many other songs that I've released that a lot of people don't know. So I stayed away from those as much as I could. But for me, I love the first two songs to come out just hit hard. And so one of those songs, I mean, I'm opening up the night with My Baby's Gun from the first album because it's a rockin' song. It really hits hard, in my opinion, and it's a way for the whole band to just kind of gel with that first song. It's just in your face. Bum 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 da 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 da, and it's da 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 da. So I think it's really rocking, and that's a really great way to set the pace of the whole night. And then after that, we're going into Back in Your Arms Again, which would have probably been one of the singles had the album kept moving forward. That was really slated to be one of the singles. The chorus is very, very hooky. Close your eyes till I say when, back in your arms again. Really, really great chorus. So that's how I'm starting the show. Two songs from the very first record, and then we start moving into the new songs, the new territory. And I am also doing an Ozzy Osbourne song that was written by Phil Soussan, who is a really good friend of mine. And, Ozzy, rest in peace. We all felt a little bit of us left with Ozzy when he left the planet. And I just want to pay some respect to him because, Ozzy transcends all countries, all people. He just is so massive. And I just want to pay some respect and do that song as well. And then, you know, closing the night with some barn burners.
All right. Well, don't
So
give it away. Don't give it away.
I
We'll look
won't.
forward look forward to hearing that. Now, let's go back to 1988 because what a year. There were some amazing albums released that year, including this one, which I have a copy of, which I love. All right. What is your best memory of that time?
Oh my gosh. Well, I had just moved to LA. I knew I wanted to get a record deal. The Sunset Strip was wild and fun. Um, Out every night, meeting people on the streets that, it was like, it was such a community, a family of just rock and roll people. and you just would hit it off with people because you had this commonality of rock slash metal and dressing like this. And we all looked like this, we all wore this kind of stuff. And it was just the best feeling, the best time, me just knowing what I wanted to do with my life. I wanted to rock and roll. I'm a performer. That's my strength. I love being on stage. I'm not afraid of anything, and I'm fearless on stage. So just the community of other rock and roll people, all of us trying to get a record deal at the same times, supporting each other, maybe, talking some smack behind people's backs because, there was a lot of competition back then, but I've never felt competition. I've always had my own path and done things my own way. So it was just a great hell of a party. I mean, I can't even I miss those days so much. I mean, it's great. I'm here in the now, but I have great memories of the Sunset Strip and, Gazzari's or the whiskey, heading to the Rainbow, ending up at parties that up in the hills that you don't even remember really how you got there. And we didn't have cell phones. We didn't have, a lot of us didn't have cars. Like, I don't know how we managed, honestly. But somehow we did. And it was a great, great time. Yeah. I mean, if you are from the 80s or rocking and rolling in Hollywood in the 80s, you know what I'm talking about.
We all miss it. I mean, I obviously wasn't there, but I mean that I grew up with it, and that was my music, and that still is, and I love it, and I miss it. But what, if anything, would you have done differently back then?
Oh gosh, there's a million things I would have done differently. I mean, I'd love to say, oh, my path has just been so perfect, but life is this, right? And I just learn from mistakes and I just keep going. I'm a fighter. I listen to myself more than anything. Um, I think that some of the things I would have done differently would have been, I would have released different singles than I did. My gut wanted to release Rebel as the third single. We released Waiting for the Big One, then Falling in and Out of Love. And I really wish that we would have released Rebel. Um, I actually wish I would have released Rebel after Waiting for the Big One.
Mm,
And that's really what I wanted to do. And that's really what the label wanted to do. But the band, as a band, thought that that was like wimping out. But I really always wanted that damn video of, behind the scenes and the tour bus and here we go. That was the concept in the video for Rebel. And I never got that. And so, yeah, that would have been something I would have changed. I would have listened to myself instead of the band as a collective, but I was doing my best juggling, being pulled, if you will, by the label a certain way and management a certain way and the band pulling this way. And so it got to be, I wanted it to be a band. I didn't want it to be just Lorraine Lewis. I wanted it to be a rockin' band. So I made some decisions that cater to the band more than what my instinct or the label or the management wanted me to do. And in the end, the wheels fell off anyway. So I could have done things a little bit differently with that second single for sure.
no, fair
But
enough.
here we are, and I'll
Yeah,
be able to perform it.
there you go. You can finally get it out there. You know what I'd love to hear? I'd love to hear If. If is a great song.
Oh, If is a great song. Thank you.
Yeah.
I love that opening. It's heavy. It doesn't get a lot of attention.
No,
Lyrically, it's fairly simple, but the band is really cooking on that song. And vocally, I think it's a really great song. So thanks for mentioning that. It
yeah.
it hardly ever gets attention.
My favorite. There we go. Now
Thank
let's talk
you.
new music because you talked about a couple of new singles. We had Living Like There's No Tomorrow and more recently Bad Love. Why was now the right time for new music from you?
Well, after my run with the girls in the last band that I was in, I mean, that was a great run. But I've always been Femme Fatale. I've always been Lorraine Lewis. It's my own brand of rock and roll. And I got back to being myself. And that is me. I mean, this jacket, this is me. This is, I've been rocking this thing for 35 years, and you can't take the rock out of the girl. So I am glad to be back to who I am and calling my own shots the way I want to. um you know um the the V band, if you will, it's not my band. It's not my brand. I mean, I did a hell of a job bringing a new audience to them, and I know that I did a great job for them, but it was never going to be my band. I never wanted it to be my band. So having, getting my walking papers with that band, it just allowed me my avenue to go back to being who I really am and being myself. And that's flirty and fun and sexy and all that stuff. And I really get to be myself. And that feels really good. When you don't have any, no vibes, nothing, you really get to call your own shots. And I'm really happy about that. And for me, I am the girl that will never go away. Like I believe in my music. I believe in myself. I love to perform. I love to perform in front of people. It's what I do, and you're never going to get rid of me. So it's important now because the stars just lined up and gave me this path. Steve Brown, that's produced the album, has been really instrumental in not only being a friend, but opening the doors for me to sign with Cleopatra, and then bringing in some killer musicians for me to work with. So it was the time. It was the time to do my own thing. And I'm loving it. And there is so much more to come. We have 7 tracks that are done and ready to go. I'm going to be flying to North Carolina in April to do a video with a really, really iconic singer for a song that we did together. And that song is Heroes by David Bowie. Originally, I recorded it with Lou Gramm, and then Lou decided not to move forward with putting it on his record. So I took the track back, and there is another iconic singer that we have done the track. It's all done. It's ready to go. It sounds kick-ass. I sent it to the label. They effing loved it. And so now we're putting the dates together on doing the video for it. So Heroes by David Bowie with me and a mystery male voice.
There was about 4 times where you're like, "Meh," and you're like, oh, held back from saying who it was. And I love
I,
that.
I know it's on the tip of my tongue, but I think people are going to be like, holy hell.
All
And
right.
when you hear the track, it's another holy hell. It's badass. So I'm
Can't
really
wait to hear
excited
that.
about that.
Now, you
And
mentioned Steve, right?
Joel Holstra plays guitar on the track as well,
Oh,
along with
cool.
Sean McNabb, Jason Sutter on drums. And we recorded it at Scott Gilman's studio. Scott actually plays saxophone for Lou Gramm, and that's how I got to know him and record my tracks there. So
Cool. When's that one coming?
that's the next single.
Oh,
It's coming
nice.
out probably within the next 5 weeks.
Oh, excellent. All right. Look forward to
Yeah.
hearing that. Yeah. Now, you mentioned Steve Brown. You're not only, working with him, but you're also touring with him. So you're coming out with TRIXTER and everything. It's awesome. Now, when I had a chat to him, he does a lot with a lot of bands. He worked with Ace and all these other people and blah, 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 blah. But what has he brought to you that you felt might have been missing before when you used to work?
I think one of the things that Steve brings most importantly is friendship and trust. And he's a fan. He's always rooting for me. He thinks I'm a badass. Like that's important. That's like a number one important thing to have from a producer. He believes in me. He believed in me from the very beginning of us working together. And ooh, I get a little emotional with that. Whew. Um, yeah, he was like, you want to do a record? I was like, yeah, I want to do a record. And that belief is what has carried me through. And the fact that he's an amazing producer, a great singer, a killer guitar player, knows everybody on the planet, that he can bring in and call on favors or this or that. I mean, he brought in Bumblefoot, to play on Bad Love. We've got some more surprises along the way. So yeah, I think that that's the biggest thing. The friendship, that he believes in me is the number one thing. And then the fact that he's just such a badass and a great hook writer and songwriter. So we've collaborated on a bunch of things. We've got a great song coming out. Actually, it's a collab with Tommy Henriksen
Hmm.
from Alice Cooper's band. It's Tommy, myself, and Steve. It's called Somebody. And oh, that one, hooky, hooky, hooky. I can't wait to do the video for that one. So yeah, lots of good stuff coming out. I've got a ballad coming called Home is Where the Heart Lives. I'll be doing a video for that in April. I'm flying to Houston to do that video. So lots of music, lots of good stuff going on. In addition to all of the podcasts, the TV shows, all the other stuff that I do, yeah, life is good.
So you're not busy at all, is what you're saying.
Not at all. Not at all. I just, I just go to Starbucks every day and do nothing. No, it is nonstop in my world, and I wouldn't want it any other way. And if I can be a light to anybody and an encourager to anybody, you never know what's around the corner. I didn't know after leaving the last band or, them leaving me with the last band. I wasn't, my footing was off. I wasn't really sure what was next. And then, obviously Steve came along and helped me through that. And you just never know what's around the corner. I mean, I've been doing some amazing work with Chris Johnson, who's a producer. We've got some things cooking. I don't know if you're familiar with him, but he is the producer that did the Evanescence music. Killer producer. I've done a track with Tony West from Blacklist Union. We recorded Stop Dragging My Heart Around. Blacklist Union is a killer band. They're working on their 7th album. People need to know who they are. They're really great. And we have another song that we just did last week in the studio with Chris Johnson. We recorded Jackson, which June Carter and Johnny Cash, but punk rock, Social D style. It's really, really great. So lots of music coming from me, not
Brilliant.
only from with Cleopatra. Well, all of these are going to be coming out on Cleopatra, but things with Steve Brown as well. Life is amazing.
Sounds like we've got a soundtrack for the rest of the year going there. Sounds like I'll be good for
Well,
music
and
as well.
also, I say in the song, in Living Like There's No Tomorrow, it ain't over till it's over. We get one shot at this life, and that's how it is for me. I mean, I'm never going to go away, and I'm never going to stop creating. I'm a creator. I'm a creative, and that's what we do. We don't stop. What are we going to do? Sit around, watch TV? No, let's
Fair enough.
make something.
Yeah, I love that. Now, do you mind if I ask you a question about that last band you were just in?
Sure, go
Cool.
ahead.
Now, obviously, what was it like singing those songs that essentially were out at the same time that you were doing Femme Fatale? When you're then singing these songs over the period, how did that go for you? Was there a weirdness? Was it okay?
Yeah, being a part of the Vixen band was great for me on so many levels. The friendship with the girls, the touring, those songs were great. But I will say Janet Gardner is a great singer. And she's in her own space. My vocal space is different from her vocal space. So there were challenges along the way for sure. But I also know that I did a great job with those songs. In my own way. I mean, I did my best to honor her vocal style, for sure, and then put a few of my own little nuances in. But no, it wasn't weird at all. It was great and really great hit songs as well. Probably though my favorite songs were probably not the hits. I mean, I loved Hellraiser. Hellraisers is one of my favorite songs of theirs, and I loved performing that because it was just heavy, and I lean more towards heavy. So I loved my time with them, and it was great. But in the beginning, I was also doing Waiting for the Big One and Falling in and Out of Love. Those were some of the songs that were put into the set as well, because I think anytime you merge a band together, you should do that because you've got fans from both bands. And, I had fans that were showing up that would tell me, they would message me and say, I had never seen Vixen before, but now that you're there, I am, because I love your music. And so I think anytime a band merges, they should do that. Towards the end, my songs were removed from the set, but that could have been a sign if something was going down. But no, I love my time in the band, and I have nothing but good things to say about my time there. And but at the same time, so grateful to be back into my own lane and doing whatever the F I want to do.
Yeah.
And I do want to set the record straight. You know, a lot of people know that I am on OnlyFans. I have an OnlyFans TV station. It is safe for work. You know, I've always been about boobs and brash. You know, that's always been my brand. If you look back at the videos, that's always been who I am. There are no surprises here. But I will say that I there was I saw an article that said that I got let go because I was on OnlyFans, and that's really just simply not true. I didn't join OnlyFans until October. They fired me back in May, and I they took all that summer money, tour money off the plate. And I do work in television. I am a producer, but it was my decision to jump into that arena because I'd wanted to do it for a long time, but I knew I couldn't do it being in that band because they lean a little more PG, maybe. I don't know. And so I knew I wouldn't be able to have both. But no, I didn't join that and then get let go. It was like 6 months or more. And so I always like to kind of set the record straight with that because that was something that happened later. But I love it. It's fun. I mean, I have guys that have been, putting my posters on their walls since they were 16, 17, 18 years old, and they get a chance to talk to me and see a sexy photo of me. I mean, come on.
I mean, why wouldn't you? I mean, that's what it's all about, right? Now, it's crazy to think you've been doing this for almost 40 odd years. If you could go back to the beginning, is there a piece of advice you'd give a younger you about being in a band?
Oh gosh, that was a great question. Yeah, I would really say to my younger self, really stick to your guns, girl. You can't please everybody. You really can't. And so you really have to do what your instinct is telling you to do. I mean, I knew with that second single, that's what we should have done or could have done. I don't want to say should have, but we could have done that. And I really needed to listen to myself more. I listened more to the powers that be, Howard Kaufman, the label, um, you know, girl from Albuquerque, New Mexico, not with a clue, right? And so you figure that these executives in mansions know the game and how to make it all happen. And sometimes they do and sometimes they don't. But I think that I would have listened to myself more and had more confidence in that. And then, as far as being in a band, you just got to roll with it. You got to be ready to rock and roll at any given moment. And that's a wild ride in itself and deserves its own interview because those times were wild with those boys. I mean, I had to be in a separate part of the hotel. I started having them book me in a different wing of the hotel because they were insane and partying like madmen. And vocally, I needed to stay calm and quiet and get a good night's sleep. It's a different game. I mean, you can move your fingers and be on zero sleep, but you can't sing on zero sleep. So it's a whole different ball game. But yeah, I would have listened to myself a little bit more.
Okay, beautiful. I love that. And you should have released that song, but what are we going to
What are you going to do? Whatever.
do? Now,
Life is good. Life is good though, so I have no complaints at all. And again, everyone's life is this, and there is no guidebook to life, right? You do the best that you can, and a door closes for me, I go around it or over it or find the keys to it, and that's basically what my life is doing right now. I'm just doing all sorts of amazing things and being around amazing people, and yeah, I'm really, really happy.
yeah, well, the fact you're still making music after this long is testament to itself, right? A lot of people drop off and lose that. So I'm so glad you're still here doing it.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Troy. Yeah, I'm not going anywhere
Beautiful.
anytime soon. Yeah, no, no, no. I
Love
don't even
that.
know what that looks like at all.
Awesome. Now, lastly, what I do with everybody, I get them to look ahead to the future with a prediction. So I want you to finish this sentence for me. By the end of 2026, Femme Fatale will.
Have released a full album on Cleopatra Records along with 12 videos and be on tour probably in Europe.
Okay, beautiful. Sounds like you're not going to be busy again. So
Yes. Yes.
Perfect. Lorraine, thank you so much for your time. Like, absolute pleasure to talk to you. I can't wait to see you in Sydney next week.
Can you believe that we can even say that? That is so hella cool.
All right.
I look forward to it. Thank you so much, Troy.
I'll be there. I'll see you then. Thanks, Lorraine. Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for watching our chat with Lorraine Lewis from Femme Fatale. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to our YouTube channel, and check out maytherrockbewithyou.com for everything else.